When you have a small business, or any business really, the first thing you think about is when you have too much going on is to hire someone. And there are just a lot of hidden costs to that. And for a really small business, you have to really have a better understanding of what you want them to do. Your operations have to be a little bit more developed for them to be truly successful.
Welcome to the My Future Business Show, where we get you in front of your best audience and keep you there. Not only are we interviewing the biggest names in business to help you become even more successful, we're inviting you to book your spot on the show to help you grow your business. So at the end of the call, make sure you fill in the interview application form at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. Hi, and welcome back to the My Future Business Show. My name's Rick Nuske, and I'm on the line with Mary-Sue Dahill. How are you, Mary-Sue?
Great. Thank you, Rick.
Yes, we were just talking about technology and the wonders that it can present for us on any given day. And on today's call, Mary-Sue and I are going to be talking about technology matchmaking, because this is such an important thing for small to medium-sized business owners to get their head around. But you know what? A lot of us don't actually know what resources are out there, and Mary-Sue specializes in this exact field. So when we jump into that, Mary-Sue, that'll be a wonderful topic to cover for the audience. But first, a little bit about yourself for the My Future Business audience.
Sure. So I have had most of my experience in education technology, and for those that have been to school in the last 20 years at Blackboard.
Yes.
And I live right outside of Washington, D.C. I have 2 mini dachshunds and 2 teenagers.
Oh, that's good.
started my business a couple of years ago. So it's been an exciting ride so far.
A bit of a whirlwind.
Yes.
So I want to talk a little about, I guess, your previous corporate experience. You've worked with some of the best and the biggest, and a lot of the times the struggle is real. It's about that not understanding in the 21st century what is available to them. How did you get to be involved with this space?
Well, I had actually started, my business doing consulting, similar work that I had been doing in the corporate space.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm working away and I'm starting to meet these small business owners that I really didn't have that much exposure to working in the corporate world. I had obviously worked with a lot of tech startup type people, but not people doing other kind of services or coaching or not tech specific type of companies. And I found that they really struggled with what technology to be using. And there was a lot of kind of, there's a squirrel sort of selection of technology, whatever the latest thing was or what their, best friend had suggested, they would go out and buy and then wonder why it was such a struggle to get it to work for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, when I was talking to one of the women that I became friends with, she was like, I know you can help me with my technology. And she's like, why don't we try it out? So she was my guinea pig. How do I take this kind of corporate technology management experience I have and apply it to a super small business?
Yeah, and I'm sitting here looking through some of the details, and something that jumped out at me on the page is this need to, especially with the small to medium-sized business owners that have limited resource, use technology to free up time so they can spend more time with the ones they love, doing the things that they love. Talk a little bit about, how technology can help us do those things.
Yeah, so when you have a small business, or any business really, the first thing you think about is when you have too much going on is to hire someone. And there are just a lot of hidden costs to that. It's not just paying them, but finding them, training them, monitoring. Those are all time costs. Mm-hmm. And for a really small business, you have to really have a better understanding of what you want them to do. Your operations have to be a little bit more developed for them to be truly successful. And what I find, because I come from a tech perspective, is that, we always ask, well, what should we code to fix that problem? Or is there a technology that will fix that problem before we ask the question, should we hire a person? So that's kind of the mindset shift that I try to educate small business owners on, is that technology should be your first question. How could I be leveraging technology more effectively in my business before you go out and hire a person?
Yes, because would they effectively replace individuals on occasion?
I think for the companies that I've worked with, they hire like virtual assistant types to really push paper. And yes, I think technology in that sense can absolutely replace that type of person. But if you're hiring somebody to actually deliver your services, or to sell your services or something like that, where it really requires them to understand your service, your value prop, and the client, then you can't replace it with technology. But a lot of small businesses hire people that are just pushing the buttons and moving paper around, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sitting here thinking about all the different moving parts to a business, of which there are several. I'd love to talk about some of the practical examples and of implementing this sort of technology, and what type of technology are we referring to?
Sure. So with small businesses, what I focus on are technologies that maybe do more than one thing, because you want the integration across those technologies to be as seamless as possible so you can automate them.
Hmm.
So the ones that I like to work with are ActiveCampaign, Ontraport, and I have worked with Infusionsoft, although it's not my favorite. But all three of those have the email marketing, the contact management, some form of sales automation and sales management, and then integrations, e-commerce, those sorts of things are all kind of wrapped up in there. So they're easy to set up automations where you take someone through a process. So like one that everyone uses, or not everyone, but should be using, is to schedule that first call to get to know you. So you schedule that on your from your website using some sort of online appointment scheduling tool.
Hmm.
Their information can be sucked into your CRM, and you can send them an email saying, I'm looking forward to meeting with you. Maybe you have some information you share. And so they come to that meeting a little bit more prepared for the conversation. That's a very common one that everyone uses.
Hmm.
Another is just after you have that sales call, when you go through the actual contract process too. So depending on how complicated your contract is, but I try to recommend tools that integrate with one another, either directly or through Zapier.
Ah, yes.
Zapier is my favorite.
It's very popular.
Yeah. But the one, that contract process is interesting, because I've seen a lot of people where they're really creating contracts every single time they work with the client. And they could be using a tool where they have a template. It's very easy to just plug in the new information. It creates the contract and sends it out for e-signature, and then can kick off the next step of sending them the invoice or payment link,
Yeah,
so that they're not having to put all those things on their to-do list. It could just kind of happen.
I had a funny thought. I heard somebody recently refer to Zapier as the glue that holds the internet together. Can we talk a little bit about the matter of fact being that there is not really a complete one-stop shop online at the moment that does, I guess, from the first moment of contact through to, I guess, the final stages of a working relationship. What's new? What's evolving in this space? Are there new technologies evolving all the time, and how do you know which ones to go with?
Yeah. Well, I use G2 Crowd,
Ah,
is a great website. Have you ever gone there?
yes, I've seen it.
So when I'm looking for a new technology, I check two places, G2 Crowd and Zapier. So I look at G2 Crowd because it'll tell you about like the category of technology that you're looking at and
Hmm.
what other options are available in that category. And then it also ranks them on the Foursquare based on what people have rated them. obviously you always have to look at multiple places, but that's just such a good kind of educational spot to get that grounding in and then know what else to look at.
Yeah.
And then I also look at Zapier because if the technology doesn't have a lot of integrations on its own, but it integrates with Zapier, you can still create more automated workflows using Zapier. So if it doesn't integrate through Zapier, I generally don't recommend it because it's kind of a limiting
Yes,
technology.
it seems to be again that glue that holds the internet together. If it doesn't work with Zapier, you might want to question it. That's absolutely sage advice. Thank you so much, Mary Sue, for sharing that. I'd love to shift gears a little bit and talk about the importance of mindset as it applies to one of your customers' fear. They don't know technology. They have this healthy fear of it. What do you say to people that are, I guess, in that space, that mindset?
Yes, I actually feel like I need to be doing a little like workshop on kind of a digital mindset.
Mm, mm.
Um, well, first of all, I just remind them that they can learn it. It's not because a lot of them feel like they they're incapable, like a technology dinosaur, but they're really not. And it's just they haven't grown up with the tool, or you used it in a corporate environment, and now you have to set this up for yourself. And it's the setting up part that they've never had to do before. So that's what I'm there for. And so they feel like they have a partner. I also use like Loom. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's a little screen video capture.
Yes, yep.
So I walk them through in Loom how to do small pieces, and they can refer back to it, which they all love. They just need the reinforcing and the training. So that's basically how I deal with it. But I also don't overwhelm them with lots of technology. I
Yes.
try to, because that it's so easy, and trying to figure out like how much is it really comfort with technology, a lack of know-how, or like they really hate it? Because there are people that really don't want to be using technology at
Mm,
all.
mm.
So
I sit here thinking to myself, well, I love technology. I live and breathe it. The whole show is automated, and it's something I'm very comfortable with. Now, with somebody who's not comfortable and you're trying to sell this idea of technology to them, what sort of a consulting process will you take somebody through?
um, well, first we talk through what are their current challenges? Like where are they getting stuck? And usually people that are coming to me know that they want some technology. They know that they need to modernize the way they do business. I just finished with a professional organizer that's been doing business for like 20 years, and
Hmm.
she is super busy. And her goal was, I just want 30 minutes a day to herself. She felt like that would make her feel like her business is serving her versus she's, a slave to her business.
Yes.
And she was unwilling to give up certain things. But we pinpointed the one thing that was really taking up all of her time. So I didn't automate everything. I just automated, and I wouldn't even call it automated, but we moved to technology to manage the scheduling of her subcontractors. And it ended up being, we used Google Calendar, surprising, because she had never used Google Calendar.
Oh, wow.
Um,
It seems
there are a lot
surprising.
I know. And we used colors on the calendar itself, so she knew which ones were finalized on the scheduling. She would invite her subcontractors, so if they accepted the calendar appointment, that meant that they were available to work for her, and then she would change the color. So it was still kind of manual, but
Hmm.
it was much more effective than the way she was doing it before, which was texting or emailing bunches of people, and it would take up so much of her time to just track down who had she asked, what did they say, and then making sure they had the right information. So here she created one calendar with all the right information. She would only add the people she preferred first, and then if they declined, she could add another person, but it was all captured in that one calendar appointment. um,
Yeah, this is great feedback. I love this sort of conversation. I always think about Mary Sue. is this applicable? Can technology be used for traditional offline businesses as much as it can those that are in the digital space?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think that the offline businesses, they get stuck with their paper process, and they don't know what's possible is really the problem.
Hmm.
They know something has to change, but there's absolutely a lot, because that's all the back office really is, can be moved into technology.
Yeah, because you hear a lot that if you're not online, where are you nowadays? And I suspect that, like you say, applies to all the more mundane administrative tasks.
Right. I have had a couple clients where they've been very successful in their business, and they've tracked it all in spreadsheets.
No.
And they're actually great clients because they know exactly what data they're capturing about their clients at which phases in their processes. And it informs the automation and the data model that you need in the CRM or wherever. But they've ultimately created like a CRM and a billing system in a spreadsheet over time. It's been an organic growth of those tools they've been using.
It makes you wonder the genesis of major players that did actually turn those spreadsheets into major SaaS businesses, doesn't it?
Yes.
Now, I'm looking at your guide here. I know that you're interested in providing a giveaway. Could you tell us a little bit about the technology to get work off your plate action guide?
Oh yeah. So there are some questions I always get. One is, what is the best CRM for my business? So that's why I created that. I went through what a CRM with automation and email marketing and contact management and sales management could do for your business. It
Hmm.
eliminates certain things, and it increases other things. It increases the amount of, I think if you're doing everything in paper, you can increase the cash flow in your business just by going online. You could increase your time because you're not tracking all this stuff in paper. It eliminates all the emails to schedule things. So I go through the benefits of having a good technology, and then I talk about the ones that I recommend and why, and I've rated them on what I'm looking at. One of the things I strongly recommend to any small business is that you first look at their help documentation. Because if you can't navigate their help documentation, where
How
they
can
don't have
they?
any good help documentation,
Yes.
then you're paying a consultant to tell you what should have been in the help documentation.
Yes, yes, thank you so much. And for everybody who's listening, I will be making the links back to that giveaway via the My Future Business website. Now, I'm looking at the services listing here, and I wonder what is the experience somebody's going to go through as somebody who wants to work with you. What are they expecting to see when they first meet you?
I think usually they're hoping that I have just like a package of technology that I set up for them. And they also, even though they're small, they want to feel that their business is taken into consideration and that they're not just getting the same setup that everyone gets.
Yeah, the cookie
Um,
cutter approach.
yeah, they want the more custom, personalized approach, and they appreciate that aspect of what I bring to it. So I start with just a discovery, and depending on if you already have some automation or if you don't, that's where the two kind of discovery
Hmm.
um, processes go. And then I focus on the sales process, making sure that's as automated as possible, because most people they have their steps and they know what they normally send an email, and it's fairly easy to actually automate those steps and make it faster, because you're not skipping a step or forgetting to follow up, take the next step in your sales process with a prospect.
Hmm.
Um, and then from there, it depends on what they really need in their business. And sometimes I'm just helping with how do they organize the service delivery and the tracking of information, using like a Google Drive or something to be able to contain the information they're getting from their clients. Because finding information is one of the biggest things I hear from people. I don't know where to look for A, B, or C, you know, because they have it in a notebook,
Yep.
they have it in a spreadsheet or MailChimp, and they just want one place to find all of it.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at the list again of, you know, email marketing, CRM, automation, and the likes, and there seems to be this discussion going on about, is, you know, email marketing still as powerful as it is today with the advent of video marketing coming to the fore? What do you think about that, and what should people be considering in terms of video in their business? Should they be using it?
Yes, I think they should be using video in their business. You still have to use, to me, email marketing to deliver video.
Mm-hmm.
You could deliver it on a social media platform, but you would also want to be able to use it in email. And most of these email marketing tools have the ability to embed a video in your email. I have just started looking at the different video tools there that you can kind of personalize your message somehow. So
Yep.
you can record it once and incorporate their name or something like that in the video itself, so they feel like you're speaking just to them.
A one-on-one touch
that's
point.
very powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and there's just, again, this conversation could go deep and wide because there are just so many alternatives. I think one of the tricks is, would you recommend somebody who's like me, they love technology and they get all these list of things, if they came to you, is it worthwhile for them to actually have a list of technologies that they think might be okay for them, and talk to you about their list?
Yeah. Yes, because a lot of times I will do research for them. You know, this is where, is that what they want to be spending their time on, is evaluating these different technologies. So a lot of people can do it, but they don't have that time. So that's what I'll do, is I'll go out and research, understand what's different about it, what the benefit of one is over another based on their business goals, and bring back a recommendation so they feel like they're making an informed decision.
Yeah, I've absolutely loved this call. Thank you so much, Mary Sue. Now, when people want to work with you, where are they actually going to go?
Well, usually I'm using Zoom, because a lot of that we can do over Zoom. I can share my screen, they can share their screen. Because I'm not dealing with the paper necessarily, so.
Right, and in terms of setting this call up, is there a website that they can visit to make that initial first step?
Oh yes, sorry, msdadvisors.com. From there, you can schedule a call with me to talk about what you're needing and what I can offer, see if there's a fit. And like Rick said, I also have the technology that will get work off your plate action guide, and I'm always sharing more. My blogs are very much about how to use technology for specific business scenarios, and lots of people find those helpful as well.
Yeah, well, look, I'm sitting here tingling. I love this technology talk. It's what the My Future Business audience thrives on, 21st century business owners, entrepreneurs. Make sure you reach out to Mary Sue at myfuturebusinessshow.com. Mary Sue, thank you so very much for spending some time with me on the My Future Business Show today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed the call, then make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, share us with your friends, and book your spot on the show at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. And if you're looking for solutions that will help grow your business, then visit myfuturebusiness.com/shop.